What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 52 of My Social Life. I'm your host, Jacob Kelly, and before we jump into today's conversation with Karla Gregg, aka What Would Karla Say, there's a couple things that we need to go over first. Number one, if you enjoyed today's podcast, please consider leaving a rating and review. The more positive ratings and reviews we get, the more it helps new people find the podcast. And if you're one of those people that have recently found the show, welcome. I'm very excited to have you here. Make sure you subscribe, stay tuned for future episodes, and to everybody listening, make sure you screenshot this, post it to your Instagram story, tag at My Social Life Podcast, and I'll feature you on the account and send you a message as well. Now, without further ado, let's get to my conversation with Karla Gregg. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to My Social Life. This is the podcast where you can hear the real stories behind the people on social media. I'm your host, Jacob Kelly, and today I'm joined by Karla Gregg. And Karla is an entrepreneur, a YouTuber, and a content creator. And I'm very excited to have her here on the podcast today. Karla, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to get talking to you.
Yeah, I'm really excited too. And so just kind of looking at your brand and everything that you do, a big part of it is YouTube. And I want to talk about your YouTube channel to start. So how would you describe your channel and the content that you produce?
Yeah, so I am a personal development vlogger. I started my channel just kind of sharing my journey with my personal life, college, career, now my entrepreneurial journey. So I always try to just give the best advice and just put myself out there and empower people to do the same, just to take risks and stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. And then where did your name come from?
What would Karla say? That's actually, it's a funny story. So basically my one of my cousins, she was always really into astrology, and she was always talking to psychics and people like that. So we would joke around oh, what would the person that she would talk to say? And we would always just be oh, well, what's today's forecast? And then so it was always what would blank say? And then I'm that's kind of a cool name for a talk show or something. I'm oh, that's a good name for my YouTube channel, because I kind of had been stuck on what I should call myself. So yeah, it was just kind of a funny story and I ran with it. Had nothing to do with me, but I mean, I'm also a talker, so it fits perfectly now.
Yeah, that's awesome. But so personal development vlogging, that kind of really caught my eye when I saw it on one of your profiles. That's unique. I've never heard anybody describe their vlog style like that. So how did you kind of fall into that?
Well, I kind of categorize myself that way, but it was because when I was looking for collaborations with other YouTubers, I would always just, I really love Yes Theory. They're one of my favorite channels. And I always said they were almost a personal development channel. And I felt a lot of the channels that I was drawn to were usually people trying to help other people. And for me, that's personal development. I'm really into self-help books. And so, I was just oh, okay, I think I'm just going to call myself a personal development YouTube channel, because I didn't want to say lifestyle, because sometimes that gets thrown into the beauty guru. And I wasn't really a typical content creator that's very into filmmaking. I was just somebody who loved expressing myself and storytelling and connecting with others on a deeper level. So I just kind of, I rolled with it.
That's awesome. And so how long have you been making YouTube videos?
Oh my God, it's been 7 years. 7 years, but I didn't take it seriously until maybe 3 years ago, where I was just kind of okay, what kind of content are you going to be making? What kind of content makes you happy? And then also trying to collaborate more with people. I've never been somebody who collaborates much on my channel. And so I kind of started pushing myself to do that more. And then also just reaching out to brands and seeing a way, ways for me to monetize my channel more. So yeah, it's been 3 years where I'm oh man, I just want this to be my full-time job. But having a YouTube channel has allowed me to have other opportunities along the way that maybe isn't having a full-time, making YouTube my full-time income, but it's definitely helped me to find other ways of income through it.
Mm-hmm. So if you started making your first couple videos 7 years ago, when did you first really get into YouTube? Was there a time prior where you were just a big consumer and not really creating content like any OG YouTubers back in the day you used to watch?
Yeah, I used to watch a lot of YouTubers. I loved Shane Dawson, who now makes these crazy docuseries that just are very addicting and scandalous. But the funny thing is, when I started consuming YouTube, it's because I had a friend who makes cosplay content. Her channel is Strawburry17. And I started helping out her with her content. She did a lot of vlogs. And so sometimes when she needed help with like her music videos or just anything production, like I was always like, I want to do it, because I had been studying television production journalism in college. And so I kind of just started creating content for other YouTubers before I started creating content for myself. So that was interesting because I kind of saw the business side of it first.
I was actually going to ask you about that because I saw that you used to work for her. So you just knew her personally prior to her channel really kind of taking off?
Well, it had already taken off, but we went to college together. She was just kind of taking classes just to learn more, but she was one of those people who's like, I don't need college, I'm going to drop out. And so she kind of just was kind enough to show me the ropes, and we were friends. We had taken a couple classes together, so yeah, that's just kind of how we met. And I didn't start making YouTube videos right away. I was like, it didn't really hit me that I can also do it and I can create my own content. I was still a little scared. Plus, I had decided to continue going to college, and so at the time I was studying journalism. I wanted to be a broadcast journalist, and so I was like, oh, I'm not ready to be on camera. And I was actually very, very shy back then. Like, I wanted to be in front of the camera, but I was always just terrified of it. And so that's when I actually started making YouTube videos for myself. I was like, you know what? The only way I'm going to get better on camera is if I make videos. So the first few videos I posted were kind of brutal. They were cringing to watch, as you've probably heard most YouTubers say. But that was the case for me. And then I kind of just kept going.
That's interesting. So you got more comfortable basically as you went on. So the way where you were able to kind of develop this ability to talk to the camera was just by doing it then.
Yeah, just by doing it almost every day. Actually, when I started, I did the whole daily vlog thing. So at the time, I don't know if it's too popular now, but there was this thing called VEDA, which was acronyms for vlog every day in August. And so I just started making videos every day in August, and that's just kind of how I kept doing it, because I saw people responding, and I started building like a small community. I didn't have that many subscribers, but the people who showed up they were asking for encouragement. And at the time, I didn't have much confidence, but I was still doing it. And I was still, people knew why I had started. I had told them my reasoning for starting my channel. So it was cool to show my progression, and also encourage people to do whatever they were scared of doing.
Mm-hmm. And what about that process of doing a daily vlog? Because I've tried to do something similar in the past and I haven't been able to stick with it. So how are you able to vlog for the entire month of August?
I kept it short. So I always had a purpose for every video that I made. I was like, okay, so today, I kind of planned, what am I doing today? Okay, I'm going to my internship. So maybe I can talk about my internship a little more, why I'm interning for such and such, things like that. So I just always kept it very short. I felt like most of the time I didn't really focus on the B-roll. It was more about the storytelling for me. So in every video, it's what I'm doing, who I'm with, and just that type of information, the who, when, what, why, and all of that, but not really me trying to, make a montage of amazing B-roll. So because my videos were very simple, kind of how nowadays people are just post content, it doesn't matter about the quality, it matters about the context. That was me in the very beginning. So it made it very easy for me to just post daily, because I didn't complicate things. And now that I'm now that I'm actually really serious about it, I do complicate things. And because of that, I'm not consistent all the time. And it really does affect my channel. But hopefully I can get it together again. I can be 20-year-old Karla again, and and just do what I'm meant to do. Just put out content.
That's really interesting though. The process, how just keeping it simple made it so much easier to do now. And I feel the same way. I just sometimes just with terms of the podcast, I try to edit it so much and be so perfect with it that it's not worth it at the end of the day, but spending all the time trying to make it perfect and overcomplicate things. And I kind of have to constantly remind myself too, to kind of bring it back and just keep it simple.
Yeah. I mean, I think you do a great job just being prepared. I feel every time, all your episodes, who shows up to your podcast, and the right questions to ask and stuff like that. So I think that makes it for just keeping it simple, but also, your stuff. So it makes it interesting to listen. like everything you say, and just the people that you bring on to are awesome.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But you mentioned how when you were doing the daily vlog, might be like you're going to this internship. So is that the time when you were interning at Clever Media?
Yeah, I was. So I was doing, yeah, Clever Media. So like I said before, I mean, I had already started my YouTube channel by at that time, or I think it was a little after, I don't remember, but that was actually my first internship in college. And I wanted to be like an entertainment news reporter, which after that internship, I was like, no, thank you. The girls on that channel, they're so talented. Like entertainment news isn't just about, talking about like the latest hot trends or celebrity news. Like you really do have to know your stuff, and like the writing, you have to keep it very simple, to the point, catchy, and always being on top of like what's new and then making it different too. Because like if you report on the same thing that every other entertainment news platform is reporting on, people, it's going to get boring. So it's like how to make it different. So that's kind of where I learned, just kind of like thinking outside of the box. But yeah, it was really cool to intern with them. And I mean, they were owned by not Smosh, but Defy Media.
Mm-hmm.
And they became like a large corporation. They had so many channels, and again, it was really cool to see the business side of things. I feel like because I got to see a lot of that, I mean, I wish I would have jumped on it sooner. Like, I'm like, Karla, like you worked with Strawburry17 first, then you did Clever Media. And then I actually was a personal assistant to this other YouTuber named Joey Graceffa.
Yeah.
And so like, I really got to see like, just like, the influencer world is so crazy because, now there's so many people doing that. They get paid for, posting about a product or whatever. And I remember just seeing like the emails that would come through with these like influencers and like how they would set up interviews and just like all the business side. I learned about that very early on. So I'm like, dang it. Come on, Karla, you should have jumped on that bandwagon.
And so like, what are some things like in terms of like the business side of the influencer economy and like YouTube and all that, what are some things that you think the average person doesn't fully understand about the business side of YouTube?
Yeah, so it's a lot of like contracts, when brands reach out to you for a sponsorship, it's not just like you're talking about like, oh, I really love LaCroix sparkling water or whatever, like it's a lot of back and forth. Like, oh, you have an idea, well, they don't like that. So then you have to like pitch another idea, and like it's like basically working like with clients, like if you're a content creator, a freelancer doing videography or photography, like there's still a lot of back and forth, a lot of contracts, a lot of pitching to them, hoping that you'll land the sponsorship. And sometimes you don't. Like sometimes, I mean, I remember these YouTubers that I worked with, they were like so excited, like, yes, I landed this deal, like I'm going to get this much money, and then it wouldn't go through. And, they had planned that, that income like into their like lifestyle. And so seeing that, it was, a lot of people think that they're constantly getting brand deals all the time, but sometimes it's like, you never know what months are going to be good or bad. And I mean, obviously this is like in the beginning of, before you have like million subscribers, but, yeah, I mean, a lot of that goes into it, just like pitching yourself. It's like a constant sales pitch.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like posting for the gram and like looking cute. You're like, I mean, some people have the benefit of that, but no, I mean, I remember when I worked for Strawburry17, we did a lot of large productions. I mean, she hired like a videographer, like a whole production team, gaffers, like when we were doing just like very high quality content. And it was a lot of money that these YouTubers had to put out of their pocket in hopes to like, we're going to make quality content. Hopefully this makes our channel grow. So yeah, it's just a lot of planning, a lot of no sleep. I mean, editing videos nonstop, especially when you get to that point where you're making graphics, you have an entire like brand for your channel, and it's not like you can mess up. Like for me, there's been moments not too long ago, I actually uploaded a video on my YouTube channel and I missed the first half, like the intro of my video, but it somehow still worked. Like, cause people commented on the video, they really enjoyed it. But I was like, oh my God, the first like 2 minutes are missing. How did I not export that part of the video? And, with YouTubers who make this their living, that full time, like those mistakes can't be made. I mean, people notice it and they're pointed out very easily, their mistakes. So I think a lot of the times people don't see that side of it, like all the negativity too, like all the things that they have to deal with the haters.
Yeah. And you mentioned how like when you were at Clever Media, you kind of see some of those emails in relation to the business side. It's like, what were you doing at Clever at that time?
Okay, well, for more so, that was like when I was working for Joey, seeing those emails because I was like his
That's fair.
assistant. But with Clever, I didn't never really looked at like all the sponsorships and stuff like that. But it was a lot of like back and forth of correcting scripts, the host having to come up with like their scripts, and then making sure that like they set everything right on camera because it was like batching content, but it was like real time content, so they had to do it fast. It was like if something, if like a celebrity died and they had to report on it really quick, it wasn't like they could take their time on it like a lot of the YouTubers can with some content, because this was content that was like news. You wanted to put it out as fast as you can, so it was like just writing a lot of scripts for them. So that's what I did. Like I helped them constantly be researching to see what's going on in the entertainment Hollywood world, and then writing the scripts. Sometimes like if I was helping the editor, like cutting up the interviews, things like that.
Mm-hmm. And then so when you ended up working for Joey, I'm assuming that was kind of through Strawburry17, like because they were good friends, right? So is that how you landed that position?
It was, yeah. So right after college, God, I graduated in the worst time just because it was, I don't know, it was during like Christmas. I was a winter graduate, and I remember being like, nobody's gonna hire like right before Christmas. And I actually started working for Megan first, helping her out with her content, but it was more freelancing. So she's like, I don't think I can't pay you forever, and like I can't make this happen. So like I have my friend, like he's looking for an assistant, and so yeah, I got connected because of Megan, and then I started just working for him. I only lasted a few months with him. Love you, Joey, if you're listening to this. But it was like my first job out of college, and I was still trying to like find myself. And being an assistant, you don't get paid like a lot. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't. I wanted a job that would allow me to get my foot into the door in like television. Also, even though it's not, by the way, working in Hollywood, you don't make a lot of money, especially as an assistant. I learned that really quick. Maybe I got like $300 more, but at least I was like, it was more structured. And I think that being an assistant, it was almost like being a freelancer where I had to learn how to use my time wisely, not being told what to do, but being the one to like step up and be like, hey, Joey, like I need this, and that. And I feel like what do you need? Like I can do this for you. Like, me being the boss, basically, like that was my role as an assistant. And I don't think that I knew how to do that right away. Like I wasn't like a horrible worker, but there was still a lot of stuff that I had to figure out. And I learned so much. I mean, not only did I learn the YouTube side, but like I learned the business side because I had to like set up his like LLC and like work with his accountant and his lawyer and like all of that stuff, all the behind the scenes of paperwork. Like I had to go through all that, and then helping out with his like short films. And then, oh my God, VidCon, like the PR side of it, like almost being his like bodyguard. That was like, that's to this day, it's one of my most favorite memories with him. Just like, because I mean I'm a YouTuber, but I definitely don't have that kind of fame, and just like going to VidCon and seeing all these like fangirls run up to him and me being like, what the heck did I get myself into? Yeah, that was probably an insane time, but it really did help me to learn how to like take charge. Like sometimes as an assistant you can't be told what to do. You're the one that's supposed, which is weird, right? Because it's like you think that's like a manager position where you're the one that's supposed to like take control of things, but no, as an assistant, like you have to be one step ahead of your boss, basically. Yeah.
Have you ever kind of reflected on like your period working with Joey, Megan, and with Clever? Because that was like a pivotal time in YouTube. Like you said, you were helping Joey kind of dealing with his lawyer, setting up his LLC, all that. Like it was really kind of like the beginning of YouTubers starting to kind of figure out the potential of how big they could take this. And you were a part of it, especially with a huge creator like Joey who has almost 10 million subscribers now. Like have you ever kind of looked back on that period and kind of been like, whoa, I was a part of like a really important time in YouTube?
I mean, I really have, but I think that now it's almost so foreign to me. And like I have a good relationship with them, but I don't really keep in touch. So it's one of those things where I'm like, I did that helped me get to like B, A, B, and C. And then, but yeah, I guess it's for me, it's crazy because I feel like because of all the experience that I had with them, I almost feel like even though I'm like a small YouTuber, you know, quote unquote, I don't like using that, but like uh, we're all mighty. But like I feel that I almost have like credibility to do what I do. I mean, as a freelancer, I also do like consulting and I help people with their YouTube channels or their social media. And like I feel like I know what I'm talking about because I'm like, look, I've been through it since the beginning. Like I might not have a million, but like if you don't do what I do and you do this, like what I know works, but I don't always do it for myself. Like, you know, it could work for you kind of thing. But no, I do reflect on it. I think that it mostly helped me to just, to like be a hard worker because it's not as glamorous as everyone thinks. You know, being a YouTuber, a full-time YouTuber, it's a lot of work. It's like 12, 16-hour days sometimes. And that really helped me to like transition into television because right after actually working with Joey, I started working as a production assistant for this show on Fox called Bones. And after that, I realized I really miss like the unscripted stuff, like, you know, YouTubers, like personalities, like real life personalities, not so much scripted. I mean, my dream at the time had always been to work on a talk show, and I'm like, right now, YouTube is the closest thing to that. Um, and so after that, I started because I like had a lot of YouTube experience. I think the time that I really reflected, like, wow, YouTube, like working for Clever, working for Strawberry17, for Joey, really helped me understand where it's at today, which is digital. I mean, now a lot of people could have their own talk shows like through YouTube, and you don't really need to be on the main, you know, like on the TV screen. Because I remember when I started working for America's Got Talent, and the reason I got hired with them is because they were so impressed with like my digital media experience, you know, working with Clever and Joey, and also continuing to produce content on my channel and being up to date with everything that was going on in YouTube and how to grow and what to do and what not to do and all of that. And at the time, they were really seeking somebody with YouTube experience because I was working with the digital team at America's Got Talent. And so that's where actually where I saw it, where I was like, whoa, like everything that you do in life has like a purpose. There's never a like, because, you know, at the time when I was like doing the whole YouTube thing, I wasn't growing because I wasn't really pursuing the YouTube content creation thing, but I was helping others. I'm like, man, like, you know, I wasn't really making money doing like working for other YouTubers, and I'm not as successful, you know, there's that. So you're like, what have I been doing? Like, did I waste like 2 years after college just like working for like digital stars? Like, should I have like jumped into TV, you know, right away? Like, would I have already been like a, you know, a associate producer on America's Got Talent? You know, all those things popped into my head. But then I realized like when I landed that job, I was like, no, like working in digital really actually helped me kind of uh, you know, just have more experience and knowledge with what's popular right now. I mean, yeah, digital's where it's at.
Yeah, definitely. And when you were working on Digital 4, America's Got Talent, you mentioned you were doing some YouTube stuff as well. So were you there when I feel like they've always had videos that just go extremely viral, like a clip from an audition or something like that. So do you remember any time where a video really popped off when you were working there?
Yes. Oh my God. What is her name? Why am I the little girl with the blonde hair?
With the ukulele?
Yes. That was
Oh
like
my, yeah, I remember that video when it came out. I don't even want to know how many times I listened to that video.
I forget
Why?
why is she blanking out? Right. I mean, her name is like I feel like it started with a G. Mm,
Gracie? No,
Gracie? Was it Gracie?
I
Yes,
can't
great.
remember.
Yes, Grace Vanderwall. So I was like working during
Great.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I
That's
helped
great.
produce some of the like not the big videos because I wasn't working on the production side, but like the digital stuff, just seeing because we would like pitch ideas for like the bigger team who was like working on like editing all those videos and stuff. So it was really cool to be part of a team that, you know, was producing viral videos. And then I would do like the interviews that would appear on YouTube. Like usually they call them the exit interviews or like the what's to come, you know, kind of like previews. So right after they would perform, um, I'd be backstage, like ready to interview them. So I got to do like a lot of that. And then having to come up with fun digital ideas that we can do on like on Snapchat, Instagram story. That was really cool because I'm like, oh wow, like now, like we're producing content for like Snapchat and Instagram, just like fun, engaging content for the fans.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was an interesting. I really loved working there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so was it from there that you kind of took the leap to work for yourself, or was there a couple other stops before that?
There was one last stop. I've always been somebody who's just like, what is next? I've never been that person who's like, I want to work for like Ellen DeGeneres for 5-10 years of my life. Like that would be cool. But like, I'm always like, what's next? How can I help this person grow? Okay, my time's already come to an end there. Like I need to walk away. And with America's Got Talent, what a lot of people don't know with production is television shows only last 3 to 6 months. And then you're kind of unemployed and you have to like scurry for change, and
Mhm.
I didn't want to like really live that life because it was difficult. I mean, I also was trying to pursue the YouTube thing, and being unemployed is not fun. So, when the shows would end, when I was working for like Bones and America's Got Talent, we had these like off months, and that's when I would do the side hustle. So I always learned, like, I was kind of always a freelancer in a way, even though I had these set production jobs that would last 3, 6, 9 months. But I learned during my off months that there was no time to sleep. Like you had to be hustling like for any little side gig that you could get here and there. But I kind of like was just like over that. And so I got this opportunity to transfer to still NBC, but it was for an agency. And one of our biggest clients was NBC. So I moved on to this company called Digital Media Management. And I started as a digital manager, social media producer. That name got thrown around differently. Like when we were at the agency working with like clients in office or just, with our team, we were like digital managers. But then when we were on set, people didn't know what that was. Like, it's crazy because I'm like, a digital manager. I mean, we're people who like deal with social media and like digital content. Come on. It's like, it's not that hard. Uh, but like people on set, that, producers or like TV directors, they're just like, well, okay, digital manager. And we're almost kind of like bottom of the totem pole, even though we're like helping market the entire show. So we were called social media producers. And so I would get to work on some NBC shows. Like I got to work on World of Dance. My biggest show was America's Got Talent, not America's Got Talent, American Ninja Warrior. So that was my last stop. And I was working there 2 years and it was really great. I mean, I finally was to the point where I would get to go to set and come up with the content and work directly with the talent and direct them on what I wanted them to say for the social media platforms and come up with fun ideas, games, like the most random, like very fluffy things, like, oh, never have I ever, like, would you rather do this or that? Things like that, just like fun, engaging things. But unfortunately, I guess it's bittersweet. I got laid off. There was a lot of change to the company, and so I got laid off. And after that, I was just kind of like, oh man, I made it to the highest, I guess, that I could make it for working in digital. Like I was a producer,
Mhm.
and that was really exciting. And I got to travel with like American Ninja Warrior. I had done all these fun things, but for some reason, I wasn't always happy. And I think because a little bit of me was had kind of cheated myself prior, where I was like, how I told you that I didn't really jump on the bandwagon doing the whole YouTube thing, or I
Yeah.
just never gave myself the chance to like see what that was like just giving myself some time to create full time. So when I got laid off, like I had savings and I was like, I'm just gonna like take 3 months, just like create the content that I want to create for my YouTube channel. And then reality hit. It's like, oh, you can't just be making YouTube content in hopes that your one video is going to go viral. And, so I was like, okay, what's next? Like, what experience do I have? At that point, I had gotten not comfortable in like a lazy way, but a comfortable way in like, whoa, like I can be my own boss and I can create content that I want and I can choose who I work with. And so then I just decided to go freelance from there. And it's been a year since I've worked for like anybody. So it's exciting, nerve-wracking. You never know what tomorrow's gonna bring, but at the same time, like I get to do cool things like be on podcasts and do like public speaking, and yeah, it's been a fun year.
That's awesome. There's a couple things I want to unpack from that, but you did say that like when you were doing that period where you were just kind of producing content for your YouTube, like you can't just kind of sit around waiting for a video to kind of pop off, but you have had a couple do really well. Like I have written down here one video with 469,000 views, another one with 238,000 views. So how are you kind of able to get so many views on some of your videos? Like what did you do that allowed them to gain some virality?
So the funny thing with those two videos, first off, it's crazy because those two exact videos I did not want to upload. I mean, the Lithuania one, which I think is the one with the least views, like that one was kind of like, oh, okay, I'll upload it. It's fun. It's an easy edit. But like my singing video one, I didn't want to upload it because I felt like the quality was really bad. And it's part of a series that I have on my YouTube channel called Never Have I Ever. And with this series, I really wanted to like I wanted these videos to be like little docu-series where they're perfect and I get like one of my videographer friends to film, and like it just never worked out that way. And this video, I felt like it just wasn't the best quality. I had like filmed some stuff on like my webcam, and so I was like, I don't want to edit this. Like it's just I was just kind of like, oh, I don't want to edit it. Like I'm just gonna throw it away. But then I'm like, no, I just did it, and I posted it. Maybe it was like I think it was like a month, maybe. It wasn't getting any views, by the way. Like I had named it something along the lines like I take singing lessons for the first time or something like that. And then I was like, keywords, I had been just watching a lot of like YouTube videos, and I was like, keywords, okay, what are people Googling? So I was using like keywords everywhere, and people were Googling like takes voice lessons, and I was like, okay, well, how can I make it funny, like where people want to click on it? Because people who take voice lessons, most of the time they're good. So I'm like, horrible singer takes voice lessons. So I was just like playing around with my tags, my description, and then literally after I made the change, maybe just a few days, it like picked up, and I started getting all these notifications, and it was kind of insane. I finally got that, like, I finally knew what it felt like to get that viral video where just like instantly you're just getting like comments and messages and hater comments, and I'm like, I made it. They're like, you're a horrible singer, you suck. And I'm like, yeah, that's what the video was called, horrible singer. But yeah, no, it was just playing around with keywords. And same with the Lithuanian video. It was like, okay, I can say like trying Lithuanian food for the first time, or I can say American tries Lithuanian, like just keeping the video simple. And I've noticed that the more you do that, and also the more like to the point the title is, like my last video that I just posted was got fired and I'm happy. I mean, those are two kind of like, it's a negative and a positive. People are like, she got fired, but like, how is she happy? Like, oh, I want to click on this because I need to know the drama, or So it's just kind of like being clever with your titles, and then also taking the time to like write the description and find the proper keywords. To not just like, I use TubeBuddy, but I also am like, I Google, and then I use like keywords everywhere. So just like constantly going back and changing things on your videos. Even like now, videos that I've posted from like 2014 or 12 when I first started, like they still get some views because I've changed up the titles or the thumbnails, which is crazy. It's basically like repurposing content.
And it's like tagging. You said you use this thing called TubeBuddy. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, TubeBuddy.
Okay. And so like when you say like, and you're doing Google stuff and like keywording, like how do you know what to put in as a keyword? Because that's something like I personally have like no idea. Like when I upload a YouTube video, I'm just kind of like typing in words that I think are associated with my video and like phrases I think people associate with what the video is about. But like, what is your kind of advice for that?
So usually when I like plan the video, I kind of already have a purpose as to like what the video is going to be about. And let's say it's like 5 ways to grow your Instagram. So I search like how to grow your Instagram. And then like this is through Google to see what other keywords are being used. So like, let's say I'm like, okay, I'm going to search for the word love. And then like related keywords are like love quotes or, the meaning of love or things like that. And then adding those related keywords onto my tags using like TubeBuddy. And then also seeing if those are even being searched on YouTube. And I mean, like with those programs, because they're like extensions that you use on like, your computer, they have been very helpful. I mean, there's been times I'm like, all my tags are good, like my thumbnails readable, like it catches attention. Like, what am I doing wrong? And now sometimes I'm like, I'm just going to throw my hands up in the air and just be like, hope to God that somebody watches my videos, But yeah, those 2 viral videos were definitely I didn't just throw them up there. Like I had to redo my thumbnails because I was like, why aren't they getting views? These are like, because after I was actually kind of proud of my singing one, I'm like, this needs to get views. Like, what can I do differently, you know? And yeah, just like testing out different thumbnails. I mean, I know just as a viewer, a consumer, that's the first thing I see. Sometimes I don't even like read the title. I'm just like, oh, that's an interesting thumbnail. And then I'm like, oh, what's this title about? Oh, cool. I'm going to like watch it, you know? So just being aware of like what people want to see and like what their eye catches, like, you know, spots first.
Mm-hmm. And like with those videos popping off too, like you have, I think 7.6 thousand subscribers, if I'm not wrong. So did a lot of those subscribers come through from those videos that went viral, or has that just been over time consistently uploading content?
No, they've came from those like videos. And the unfortunate thing about that actually, well, so my channel has had moments where I'm like, this is great. I'm growing. Like I finally made it. But people are there for a specific reason. So like the first time that my channel ever just grew instantly. I mean, I think I was like at 100 subscribers and then I got 2,000, like boom, in a month, was because another YouTuber had promoted my channel. Like she had come across the series that I had at the time. It was like a podcast series and promoted me. And then I got all those. And then as soon as like they noticed that I wasn't making similar content to her or, you know, just they liked me, but not enough. It was kind of like, oh, a lot of people had subscribed to me, but the views weren't really there. And then so I kind of had to rebuild like who I was in a way, like reinvent myself. Like, okay, well, I don't have her subscribers anymore. So like, you know, what kind of like, how am I going to be myself with, you know? And then so I started making like travel videos and these viral videos. And a lot of the times people just come for that video. And, you know, I still get comments like, hey, when are you going to make another singing video? And I'm like, I made two. And I'll link them to like another one that I made because this video did so well. And I went to like VidCon and I met up with somebody who like does YouTube analytics. And they're like, you need to like ride on this like viral video and make 5 more singing videos. And I'm like, but I'm not a singing channel, you know? And like my soul was kind of like, I mean, I could do it for fun where I'm like, you know, trying to be like a rapper one day. And then maybe the next day I'm like singing like mariachi Mexican music. Like, how am I going to make it fun where it's still about personal development and growth? But I didn't want to like really sell out and just start making like, I'm going to start making singing videos. But unfortunately, yeah, a lot of people showed up because of that. And, you know, I still have those subscribers, but the views aren't there. So that's the only like downside of that.
Yeah. And so why wouldn't you kind of want to just lean into the singing for a little bit and then kind of try and convert your followers more so into the content you want to create? Why are you going about a way where you want to grow with the content you want to create as opposed to taking the easy way to pop off first?
I think it's just because I have like built a personal brand where people really trust what I'm saying. And I know this sounds so like, God, Karla, you're such a hipster. Like I do it for the art. But I just genuinely didn't want to confuse my viewers and just be like, you know, I mean, I guess I could have, you know, done 1 singing video and then 3 like more like the videos that I usually do and then go back to singing video. But I think it also just became overwhelming because it wasn't an easy video to make. Like I, you know, had to go to the singing classes. I had to actually progress. It wasn't just like me turning on the webcam and be like, hey, today I'm going to sing a Billie Eilish song and just sing because I'm horrible. Like it was actually me going out and putting myself out there. And I just didn't make the time really to also to make more singing videos. And then I did another one, but I think it was like a little too late. And I just didn't, I think it's also, I just not just like selling out and I had built a trust with my audience, but it was also like, I know what that looks like where I've had friends who do make, okay, this video went viral. I'm just going to do all of these videos just to grow. And then they don't get the views. So it's basically like, what's the point of having millions of subscribers if you're not even getting the views? And then also on top of that, it's kind of soul sucking because then you're stuck making content you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I've kind of ran into that problem now and I've stepped away from it. But when I started as a freelancer, I was doing, you know, a lot of people were asking me for advice on social media and like, how do you get clients and all of this? And then I started making videos like how to be a social media manager and work remote. And I started feeling, I mean, I posted some videos about my entrepreneurial journey, but I was going to be that person who's like 5 ways to grow on Instagram, 5 ways that you can get 1,000 subscribers, just very like specific, niche based. And I remember one day I was like batch filming a bunch of like how-to videos, how to grow on Instagram, social media type of stuff. And I was like, this isn't what I want to do. Like, it is my business. I love doing it for other people, but I'm not just going to make content on YouTube just to grow, because the reason I started YouTube is because I love expressing myself and I love connecting with people and storytelling and empowering other people to like not be afraid to try new things. And that's what makes me happy. And so, I guess in a selfish way, I did it for myself too. Like, where I'm like, in the long run, I'm not going to be happy making content just because of views, you know?
And then talk to me just quickly about collabs, because you mentioned you started to do that a little bit more as well with your YouTube.
Yeah, so it's hard to do collabs in the sense, well, I was living in LA for actually a few years, almost a decade, and I just didn't do it out there because like when I first started YouTube, I did know a lot of the bigger YouTubers, and for me, I was always very hesitant to ask them. I don't want to be like a mooch, which now I kind of like realize that people know your heart and they're going to know your intentions, so I didn't have to worry about that. But the reason I started collabing more so was just to reach a bigger audience, but also just it's more fun to create content with other people. I think it keeps you a little motivated. I mean, like the last video that I did, the last collab that I did was with a YouTuber. He actually considers himself like a personal development YouTuber too. And his name's Max Hurton. He found me through my YouTube channel because of the singing video. And he does like these videos, like he tries new things as well. And he also does business videos. And so it was motivating in the sense that I'm like, wow, somebody like likes my content. I should be making more of this content because it's clearly getting the attention of other content creators whose content I like. So, I think it's just a way to keep you motivated, like creating content, and so it's just fun to create content with other content creators too, because they know what it's like to do the, just to do the thing, like to create content because you're actually passionate about it. I think I need to like collab more, but when I have collabed, again, the reason it's also kept me motivated is usually they're not people like in my city. I have to do collabs like with people from other cities. So what we usually do is like hop on a call, like talk about what we're going to do with the video, kind of get to know each other more, like come up with ideas. So it's like you have that creative team in a sense, So that's what I like about collabing more so. I don't think it can, but I don't think it really works in order to like grow as much as it used to before, where people were just like, hey, go watch her channel, she's really amazing, and then all of their subscribers would like go to your channel. I don't think it works that way anymore, but just for the most part, it's just fun,
Mm-hmm. And then there's a couple people specifically that I want to ask you about. One being, like, I just saw that these are people that follow you, and I was curious about your relationship with Cody Warner.
Okay, so Cody, actually, I think we found each other through one of those like third party apps that were like trying to make like a community for YouTubers. I don't even know what it's called, but it's basically like you can reach out to people to collab, but like nobody was on them. And if they were, it was people with like 5 subscribers. And I remember him, I think he was one of those people. So that's how we found each other. We added each other on Instagram. And I've never met him in person. But I know he's somebody who, like, if you reach out for like any type of advice, he's like willing to help. Like, and so I actually am part of like the No Small Creator group that he created on Facebook, and I've been able to meet people through there. But I actually went to I put together an event with one of my YouTuber friends named Red Romina, and I went to Atlanta and met a lot of other creators who are like in the same circle. So I'm like, I know Cody because of other people, but I've just never had the pleasure to meet him yet.
Mm-hmm. What about Justin O'D show?
Justin, oh, he's cool. Again, I met him through an event. So one of my friends, her name's Ashley Cacciadorian. She has a YouTube channel. She put together this event. It was right after I had become a freelancer, and I was the MC for the event. He was there. He was somebody who was on the panel, and I met him through there. Cool guy. Oh my God. And he's really nice about anytime I slide into his DMs, like, Justin, I need help with this. I don't know what to do with this. Cause like I edit, but I'm not like a Justin. He's always willing to like ask. I mean, he's always willing to help. So that's cool to know him in that professional level.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I asked about Justin specifically because actually probably like 2 hours ago, we confirmed that he'll be coming on the podcast soon. So
Woo,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So that's kind of why I asked about that. And the other person I saw that was following you on Twitter was Shane Dawson. So what's the story behind that?
Shane Dawson, good old Shane. So when I worked for Strawburry17, I was like producing content for her channel. She did a relaunch for her YouTube, and he came to the event again, like through an event, and he just started following like all the Strawburry17 team people. And actually, there's a funny story behind him. Like, I would one day want to be like, "Hey, can we collab somehow?" Because I remember there was this vlog where this YouTuber named Trisha, she actually was the one who promoted my channel, and it went from like 100 subscribers to like 2,000.
Trisha Paytas?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she was like, "You guys should really check out this Karla girl. She's really amazing, and she's so real, and like I love her series." It was called Karla's Car Conversations before Comedians and Coffee. Just throwing that out.
Okay.
And so yeah, she promoted it, and he was like in her vlog, and she was like, "Shane, what do you think about Karla?" And he's like, I mean, she's okay." And I don't remember what vlog it is, but it would be really fun to do like a sit down reaction to that. But I was like, "Oh, I'm a little shook that you don't like. Do you not like my content, Shane?" But yeah, he just follows me on Twitter, but we're not friends, unfortunately.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk to you kind of about the stigma around wanting to monetize a YouTube channel. Cause like you were talking about how you want to do it for the art, but at the same time, like wanting to monetize it, I feel like people don't want people to be in it just for the money, quote unquote. But if you want to make it full time, you kind of have to be in it to make money. So like, where do you land on with trying to monetize your channel?
Well, I actually, trying to monetize it, I want to, like, 100%. I think that I've built a pretty solid, like, relationship with my subscribers, the ones who have been there since the beginning, and even like new. I just try to be very genuine in my channel. And now that word gets thrown around, but like authentic and mostly vulnerable too. I'm very vulnerable on my channel, um, and because of that, I think that people know that I'm passionate about it. Like, I want to be as real as possible. I want to share my journey, and at the same time, I'm like, but hey, like I need to make money, you know. And so yeah, like I'm like 50-50. Like, I do it for the, because I'm passionate about it, but in the long run, I want to be able to do this full time so I could keep making better videos. And so when it comes to monetizing for me, I just do it through like Patreon, or still writing on those viral videos, thankfully. But I mean, it's not where my income comes from, like, if that would be bad. I don't even know if I'd be living on like top ramen. So I do it because I love to do it, but there's been moments where I'm like, I'm not even making money from it. Like, why am I doing this? Like, I just need to quit. But then I love my community. I love all the friends that I've made through it. I mean, a lot of my best friends actually are from YouTube, and I've just started a podcast with one of my like best friends from YouTube. So it's been cool to build that community and create friendships from it, but I would like to make money. And we always have these like text messages with my creator friends where I'm like, "Oh my God, like I don't know what to do with my channel. Like, I'm trying to make money. How can I like change up my plan? Like, what do I need to do to get there?" I think a lot of people don't talk about that. We all like to pretend like we have everything together. I don't.
And like, what are some things you mentioned earlier that like when you're doing your YouTube consulting, there's some things you'll tell your clients to do that you're not doing yourself? Like, do you have an example of something like that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Staying consistent. I mean, I've 100% know that when you pick a schedule and like the time, and people will show up, because I've had times where people were like, "Oh, I like went to your channel, but you didn't have any YouTube videos," and then kind of slowly started like not showing up to my channel at the time that I would tell them to. And now YouTube not always, even though you hit the notification bell, they still don't notify your subscribers. But if it's like, if your viewers know that Monday is at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you have a video, they're going to want to go to your channel, because I think that YouTube is one of those places that people actually go with intention. They're like, I want to go watch this person, or I'm trying to search for this specific thing. It's not like it just shows up in your feed like Instagram, where you're just like, oh, I wasn't expecting to like binge watch Gary Vee today, but sure, why not, you know? Um, so, so yeah, I think that mainly consistency, but also finding a niche. I don't I don't do it for my channel, and I don't uh what's it called? Like somebody recently asked me this because I actually had a vlogging workshop here in my local hometown, and local, I don't know why I said that, but somebody was like, "Do we have to niche down, or can we like have three categories that we're like we love, and people know that they're going to get personal development, they're going to get entrepreneurial videos, and they're going to get like short documentaries?" And I'm like, "That's what I do. Like I have three categories, and I stick to those." But with my clients, like I try to tell them, like, okay, if you're a real estate agent, do those videos that's like, you know, 5 ways to sell your first house. Like do those videos that people are searching for, because you're going to add value to them, and then they're going to want to know more about like the person behind it. And so now with my YouTube videos, like even though I don't just talk about YouTube for like in my entire channel, or like how to social media, I always still try to have a purpose with my videos, where I'm like, okay, what is this video about? Why am I sharing it? Is it to share my journey as an entrepreneur? Like, do you think, like, is it going to give me an opportunity to do more public speaking? Like, I always just try to have a purpose, and that's kind of what I tell my clients. And so, in that sense, I do stick to my word. But when it comes to like following those rules, where you're like you're going to grow faster, I don't do it for my channel, because I guess I'm like, I don't know, I love my personal brand, and I don't want to just keep it's soul sucking, like to just do. I mean, if you're gonna go with an intention, like, I mean, like, I'm gonna make money, boom, right? But like, I've grown this like personal brand, and I love talking about personal development, and just like going after your like dreams and fear, and like letting go of fears. Like, I don't want to just start like all of a sudden making YouTube videos about how to grow your Instagram. You know, yeah, I don't want to do it. But since my clients are paying me to be like, how can I grow my channel faster? Then I'm going to tell them, do the niche like based videos,
Yeah.
you know?
And what are some other services you offer? Because YouTube consulting is just one aspect of your business, right?
Yeah, I do that like not so much. I mean, there's been a few people that I've worked with doing that, but my business is more so social media management, and I'm slowly transitioning into content creation because I miss it. I, as a social media manager, I work from home, and most of my clients have been remote. And thankfully, I've gotten some local clients, so now I get to like see some people. And I think the reasoning behind that, like the way I structured my business when I started reaching out to brands remotely, it was because I was like, oh, well, I'm finally going to be a freelancer. Maybe I can like move to Bali and like work from my computer, you know? And so I started getting all these like remote clients, and it was great, like the first, you know, 5, 6 months. But then after a while, I was like, oh yeah, Karla, you actually like people? Because there's sometimes I still can't decide if I do like working alone or with other people. But then I was like, no, I really do like, I like storytelling, and I like connecting with people. And so now I'm doing like more content creation, and I've been able to do some videos for like my here around for my hometown, just with like local businesses. And um yeah, but for the most part, it's like social media strategy and management. So uh, handling brands, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Okay. And it's like, how much time does that take up then managing all these different social channels or social accounts?
It takes a lot of time. It like I feel like a lot of people don't think that social media like it's easy, right? Because like even I had that going into it, like, oh, like I have social media experience, digital experience. I'm gonna work in Bali and like handle, I don't know, like Coca-Cola's social media pages. That was never my client. But like but it's so much harder than that, because it's like, especially with a bunch of platforms in the beginning, I was just focusing on Facebook and Instagram. And then you know, my clients were like, well, I want to be on Twitter, I want to be on LinkedIn. And of course, I don't want to like lose clients. I'm like, okay, let's do it all. But then it's like, if you really want to grow, you have to pick like 2 to 3 platforms that you can really own, and post more content, and like, what's it called, engage with your viewers or potential viewers, or trying to like recruit people. Like right now I have a real estate client, so it's not just posting for them or just creating content. It's like me trying to engage with the community and seeing how I can show up. And it's been cool because with this client, it's a local client. They're like, I've gotten people saying like, oh, I see your like all your posts on social media, and they've even gotten people they've recruited like new agents. And so it's cool to see that, I've been able to do something for them. But I don't know. Yeah, I think it's important to like really own 2 to 3 platforms, and it's just a lot to handle because just recently somebody asked me like, are you sure like you don't want to, just work for one industry? So if you're going to do like social media management, just work for real estate people or just work for like, beauty products, because then it's like you have to research all of these different industries. Like my first few months in as I was doing this, I had like 4 clients. One of them was a film, what's it called? A film, not event, but festival. So it was a film festival, and then I had a production company, and then I had a dog food company and a baby food company. These are like 4 different brands. So not only am I supposed to like put the time into researching the platforms and everything that's changing with the platforms and coming up with the captions, I also have to know the product. Like this dog food company was like some organic food company, so I had to know what was inside the product when people would ask me. Like doing it was like a lot of customer like outreach, but also customer service, and knowing like what's inside the baby food, and then also knowing like mom tips, like 5 ways for your kids to eat broccoli, because I had to like make captions that were also valuable, not just like funny puns. So it's a lot of like brains in your head sometimes, where you're just like, oh, especially when it's like that many. I mean, as you heard, it was like different industries and completely different industries. So I mean, and like now I know a lot about real estate because one of my clients is a real estate broker. So I'm like, okay, bring it on. Like I can be that person who can have multiple like different. I can know a little bit about everything, like at a dinner conversation now, I guess. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. It's not just like posting.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you have your own social channels as well. So I kind of want to talk to you about your strategy there. Like Instagram, I think you're sitting at just over 2,000 followers. So like, is that something you're going heavy on, or is YouTube kind of your main focus outside of like all your client work?
Well, lately I feel like Instagram has been my main focus. It's because it's the platform that I show up the most to. Um, but like YouTube is still what I'm trying to like. I drive people from my Instagram, I drive them to my YouTube channel. So it's always that like reminder, like, "Hey, don't forget, guys, like I have a YouTube channel. Go subscribe, hit that bell, leave a comment." But I think with Instagram, it's so much easier. I can just show up to my stories. Like I don't always post on my feed, especially handling other people's social media. It gets a little overwhelming handling my own personal brand, but I never lose contact with my audience because I'm using Instagram stories. So that's a good way to like leverage all the followers that I've been able to build. And yeah, so it's a little difficult, like, getting sometimes people to stick around. Like the growth isn't always there, but I know that when I promote my YouTube channel using Instagram, when I don't promote my YouTube videos on Instagram, I don't get that many views. When I do promote it, like people will from Instagram or Facebook go to my YouTube channel. So that's been nice to see that, I could use these other platforms to really promote my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm. And you own at Karla Gregg. Do you ever see a point down the line where you're going to switch and have that as your main username as opposed to what you have now?
I have. That's why I have it there. But I feel like I've built what would Carla say, and I feel like if I were to make that transition, I I would need like a contact at YouTube, right? To like I don't know, get that URL on YouTube, or maybe I think I own the URL too. I don't know. I just right now what I'm mainly focused on is so you'd be surprised who's willing to help you out online. There's a lot of videographers, content creators whose work I admire, and right now I'm trying to figure out if I should start a completely different business where it's like, what would Carla say is my YouTube personal brand that still gets me clients, but it's more about social media management, like my entrepreneurial journey, just keeping it how I have it, but then having a completely different brand for like my photos and my videos, because I've gotten gigs because people like have seen my work, or their friends or family or local businesses that love what I'm doing with my YouTube channel. They're like, we want, like, I recently got hired to do like a documentary style video, just going around like interviewing people from the community about public transit. And my client was like, I want you to do what you do for your YouTube channel. So don't think that you need to like be this like videographer that's like super technical. Like we like your camera movements, like vlogging style. Like they literally wanted me to create a vlogging like type of video. But then I was like, well, this is what I'm thinking. Can we do this? And it was really cool to see like get clients because they like just like my storytelling. But I'm trying to see like, okay, do I need a separate channel for just Karla, not the face, like the personality, but just like I'm behind the camera type of thing. So that's where I'm more, where my focus is more right now, like just trying to figure that out and kind of pushing Karla Gregg to the side because, you know, I'm not like, Karla Gregg isn't like a household name.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, because I know a lot of content creators use their first and last name to promote like their videography services and stuff. I just don't know if that's what I want to do.
Yeah. And can you talk to me about your use of Twitter lists?
Oh, my Twitter list. Can you see those?
Okay, yeah, I could.
No way. That is so funny. Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
embarrassing. Okay. Yeah, so my Twitter list, I mean, I might as well just confess it. I have like friends, current, potential YouTube like collabs. So it's like people who like, I think that's the names of them. I've changed them around, but like people who I don't really have a personal connection with, but like we've talked amongst each other, like, you know, we're in the same networking circle and I'm like, I really need to support their content. So I, instead of them getting lost in me being like, wait, who's that person I met at this networking event? Oh, okay. I could just go to my list and be like, oh, Alex or Bob, or yeah, I gotta like support their content, watch their YouTube channels, because there's so many content creators out there that like I at least want to support them and I turn on my notifications, but sometimes I don't have time to watch everyone's YouTube videos, but I could go and support them on Twitter and engage with them in conversation and build those friendships rather than just being like, oh, I met you once and then I completely forgot about you. And then all of a sudden I'm like reaching out to you. You know, it's just like, I think it's important to keep building those relationships. And actually that brings me to a point when I was talking about like just videography, when I'm trying to like brand myself as like a content creator behind the camera. I reached out to this really talented content creator. I think your username's like just ask Jenny J. Great content, and she like gave me all this advice about like, you know, when she started, she had actually started with like a production company name, and then she realized that a lot of people were they wanted to know the personality behind the camera. They're like, well, who's the girl making content? Like people want to work with people that they feel comfortable with or could like you know, just work together with, like they just like their personality. And she's like, I realized that I needed that, so I actually created a personal brand. And so for me, I created that personal brand with where people are like, I want to work with, like, maybe Karla's not the best and she doesn't have like the drone footage in her videos, but we like her style, we like her vibe, we want her to make a video for like our company, you know. So that's been cool, and being able to, you know, reach out to other content creators. And the lists on Twitter have helped because I'm not really active on Twitter. I'm, like I said, I follow people more on Instagram, and I send voice memos, so like I'll build those relationships there. But then on Twitter, people will like send me messages and notifications, and I'll be very late to the conversation. Where it's like, who is this girl again? Like, she shows up like 5 days later, you know? So yeah, the lists help me to stay relevant and know who I'm supposed to be talking to from all the people that I've met.
That's awesome. I just do a similar thing. I didn't realize that you thought that they were hidden. But I just do a similar thing when I try to have like a curated feed, basically, because my Twitter gets a little cluttered sometimes. So I like to kind of organize my feed, and that's what I use my list for.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're a little over time, but I have 2 questions and a quick rapid fire. Is that cool?
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Ready for it.
Can you just talk to me about manifestation for a minute?
Manifestation is just go like thinking about what you want. I'm a big believer in dream boards, and I've seen it like happen right in front of me. Like, I have a dream board, I wake up to it, I'm like, okay, Karla, you're not putting the work into it today. Like, obviously you can't just think I want to this and it's going to happen and you don't put the work into it. But if you have it visually there in front of you and it's a constant reminder, then you're going to put the work and you're going to manifest whatever it is that you want. And yeah, it's been cool to see a lot of stuff on my dream board happening this year.
Mm-hmm. How do you think your life would have played out if you'd been picked as a Disney movie surfer?
Oh my God. Oh wow, that was like one of my first YouTube videos. My life would have been probably I probably would have had like my own show on Travel Channel right now, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I still have that dream. Yeah, I do. You know, it's like, I mean, maybe I'll get there. Maybe it's through YouTube. I don't know. But yeah, just I'd be traveling the world, being very. I'd probably be more animated, very like to the point where my friends are like, "Karla, shut up! Like you're too bubbly."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so quick Q&A or quick rapid fire here. You're going to dinner. You can take 3 people. It can be anybody, dead or alive. Who do you take to dinner?
Okay, number 1, Anthony Bourdain. Number 2, this journalist named Jorge Ramos. And then number 3, the guys from Yes Theory.
All right. What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
To not compare yourself to other people and like just get started and make mistakes along the way. And that's more of like business advice, but it was just like, don't do all that research. Like, don't be like, oh, I wonder what my competition's doing. It's just like figuring out by making your own mistakes.
Mm-hmm. What, when your alarm goes off in the morning, what motivates you to get up and out of bed?
Not liking my life in like 2 months.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
Just like me feeling stuck, like me being because I went through that halfway through being a freelancer this year where I was just like, oh my God, I don't think I like having my own business. But I think it was just because I wasn't getting the clients that I wanted to. I was just saying yes to like whoever. And yeah, because of that, I'm like, I don't want to ever be in that situation, because then it's like I might as well go back to a full-time job if I don't like the clients that I have now, or the things that I'm doing now as a freelancer. Because yeah, the reason I decided to have this life is because I wanted to be selective on like what I did and my time. And I think it's like control of my time. Like if I don't wake up in the morning, then like I lose like my time. And that's the reason I'm a freelancer, because I like to have control with that.
Yeah. What's one thing about you people wouldn't expect?
Probably that I get like frustrated easily. Like I'm a patient person with people, but I'm very easily well, no, this is, people know that I'm easily distracted. But when I'm focused. And so I get like I'm like, yeah, I get like assertive, like just frustrated. Like, don't bother me when I'm working. Like if you see Karla on her laptop, she's like super zoned out. She's probably like might snap at you, and people don't expect that because I'm like very sweet most of the time. But I have really hard like time to just like concentrating. And so like usually I'm just lock myself into my room and no distractions, phone off. Like, yeah, my college roommate would know this. Like she's like, Karla's the sweetest person, but when she's in the zone and you like, yeah, disrupt her, it's like she's not nice.
Final
Yeah.
question. So if you had like a crystal ball and you could see the answer to anything, what is one question that you'd want to know the answer to?
Oh man, this might get too deep, so I don't know if I want to do it. Let's see. Just, will I be happy? Will I live a happy life?
Okay.
That's too selfish, though. I don't know. Like, what is the purpose of life? Like, what? Yeah. I've been going through a lot of self-discovery, so I guess just like, am I making the right choices in life?
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good question to ask. I think that's a good note to end on too.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to give you the floor. Where can the people find you? Plug anything and everything that you got right now.
Yeah, so you can find me on What Would Karla Say on Instagram and YouTube. You could also find me at www.karlasay on Twitter. Just find me by What Would Karla Say. And I have a podcast that I recently launched. It is called Mics and Movies. It's a lot of fun. No structure, just, creating content, having fun, and having cool conversations about movies. So you guys should go check it out.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you once again for coming on the podcast. I want to thank everybody for listening. Whether you've listened the entire way through, you've only listened to bits and pieces, I really appreciate you taking the time to check this out. Guys, do me a favor, go and follow Karla on Instagram, subscribe to her YouTube channel, check out her podcast. I'll make sure everything's linked in the show notes down below. And if you'd like to follow me, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @JacobKelly. Come and say hello. I'm always down to chat. And if you'd like to follow the podcast, just search up My Social Life and we'll come up on Instagram and YouTube. Thank you once again for listening, everybody. We'll talk soon.